traditionally we are used to the idea that we get values from our parents or families or religious systems or the organizations that we work in, that they would give certain kinds of values. But what's most important is for individuals to go through the process of establishing values as part of their own identity. Who am I as a human being? What am I as a human being? Those are all value propositions. So if you create a mechanism by which people begin the sense of critical thinking, reflection, to begin to start what values should be part of my own identity, what kind of person do I wish to be, and then learn the mechanics of when do I apply those values, in what context. Because one cannot become a self-righteous individual. What we need to do is create a whole new platform of individuals who take part and delight in taking process of this self-reflective process of understanding what the values are. And then giving them the training behind how to make value trade-offs. Because on a daily basis, we make value trade-offs. We choose sometimes loyalty over honesty. We choose sometimes trust over something else. But are those judgments, are those decisions happening mechanically? Or why are we making those kinds of decisions? This is something that we can inform ourselves and train ourselves. We live in an era where there's a lot of talk about leadership. But if you look around the world, there's a tremendous leadership deficit. So you have all these programs on leadership, but there are no good leaders. And what generally happens is when we talk about compartmentalization of values, so people will have role models. For example, in business scenario, they will have certain kinds of role models. But then when you ask them, well, but what kind of person would you like to be? And then they will start saying, well, I want to be like Mandela or Gandhi or this kind of individual. But then what happens is that they have elevated those individuals to such a high level that then they say to them, well, I cannot be as great as those individuals, so I cannot have those values. This is the kind of excuses that we want to overcome. That every human being has the potential, given the right kind of training, the right kind of nurturing, to go through those kinds of value propositions. And most important thing is, at the very basic, is empathy training. Is that empathy is one of the primary governing forces in creating this wholesome fabric of human society. We have to move beyond just a biological sense of empathy. We have to truly understand how to build this empathy so that we can utilize it not only in connecting with people that we like, but with strangers and people that we don't like. Well, neuroscience tells us that it can change the structure of your brain. It tells us that you meditate on empathy and compassion and you see changes in prefrontal cortex. So it's not just some soft wishy-washy quality. It has real changes in your brain. See? And then reversibly, it also tells you about how you relate to people, how you make certain kinds of decisions. And it tells you things like, if you're building a corporate environment, if you're building a team of any form, that if people are operating out of compassion and kindness, chances are that that environment will do much better in the long run than an organization or environment where people are cutthroat and jealous and envious. And we have data showing that compassionate leaders build much better organizational structures. But even from a pragmatic perspective, I have often posed this question to society at large, which is that if we truly believe that in order to be successful in this world, we need to be greedy, we need to be deceitful, we need to be unkind, then why don't we just teach those qualities to our kids? We should teach those qualities to our kids in a manner that by the time they're 10 years old, they're experts in greed. By the time they're 15, they're experts in deceit. So the bottom line then becomes is who's going to take the risk and start interjecting it such that the future generation, not only the current generation, but also the future generation can begin to live in a society where trust and kindness and these things become social policies. When you look at most successful social movements, you look at Gandhi, you look at Mandela, you look at Tutu, you look at Mother Teresa, meaning most people that we admire who have actually made a dent in society, they all began as small individuals who then created social movements. Now the thing is, you can say that it's only happening in pockets here and there. But We also have to recognize that the current generation of youth is perhaps one of the most caring generation of youth, in the sense that they do want to change the world. They do want to see a positive change and positive impact on the world. The question becomes for the previous generation is, are we going to support it, or are we going to create an obstacle?
And then we need teachers.